I'm so blessed that I don't have a jealous husband, because I would have networking meetings where we're going to the hotel. I'm meeting the guys at the hotel, and I'm the only woman there. And, oh yeah, Dante, I'm going out with the guys.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
I could only imagine that conversation with Dante. He calls me up, hey, honey, what are you doing? I'm going to a hotel with a few guys, and
My networking meeting.
yeah, it's a working meeting, and I'll be home whenever it's done.
Yeah.
That's great. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Kris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance, where we explore the daily lives of CPTG graduates, lenders, and everybody else in between. And I'm very excited for this next guest and interview of Lisa Rodino of Rodino and Associates. Hey, Lisa.
Hello. How are you doing, Kris?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Long time no see.
Yes, it's been a while.
When did you come through training?
March of 2016.
March of 2016. Wow. So it seems like it's been like 4 years now.
Yes, it has.
Now,
it has. It's funny. Our business actually got its origination date on February 29th. So we are finally 1 year old.
Finally 1 year old. Wow. And if I remember, you had your other half come through too, right?
Yes, it was his idea. That was Dante.
That was Dante. How's Dante doing?
He's doing very well. Doing very well. He has some other things in the mix that he's working on, but this has been my baby over the years. Good.
Well, tell him I said hello.
I will do that.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with you guys when you were here. I remember the class you guys were in, and it's good to reconnect. So, thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. So tell me, what was life like before CPTG? What were you doing?
Before CPTG, I have been in and out of the medical profession. I'm a radiation therapist. I was managing a department, but I was also raising children. So when it was time to go back and be full-time, what do you want to do? Go back into the basement of the hospital and help the sick patients, or be out and about, be able to see the daylight and help people with their struggling businesses? I was all about helping with the businesses, because you have the healthy people and getting their businesses in order. Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, you're still dealing with problems, right? You're helping somebody with a problem, which is health, which is probably the most important, but businesses. So did you actually stumble across this, do you remember? Or did you actually search out for something like this?
Well, the little history, Dante and I owned a residential lending company back in Michigan.
That's right.
Back in the 90s and the early to late 90s. Towards the late 90s, 2008 was starting, but in the Detroit metro market, it had already started to crumble. We had the overextended homes that were priced, the lending was huge. GMAC, they got in trouble for that. Yeah. And Dante saw that and knew that it couldn't sustain itself.
Right.
So we decided to sell our business over there and go into the private sector for a few years. And after a few years, I got the kids old enough that they could sustain themselves. It was time for me to get refocused. And that's when Dante started doing some digging. He had actually done training on the residential side back in the 90s. So when he saw your program, he was like, okay, this is equivalent to what he had done previously, but on the commercial side. So it was like, okay.
So were you like, listen, I deal with a lot of couples. A lot of couples come through here, husband, wife, partners. When he first brought up the idea, where you're like, are you effing crazy? Like, what, what? You're going to go to New York and take this training? Like, were you skeptical when he brought the idea to you?
I was a little bit, but I also saw what he did with the last business with the other training. So it was like, okay, this makes sense.
Right.
You know, and having that attaché of lenders available to you, holy cow, you know, that
Right.
is half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then now you got, when you talked about this, hey, we're going to go to these guys in New York, you know, this training.
Yeah.
We hope they're there. I mean, I've heard it all, you know, like
Oh
we
yeah.
have an office. I mean, I'm used to it. We've been doing this a long time, but
Yep.
did you guys decide to do it together, or he was just coming to support you? Kind of tell me about that break.
Oh, no. That was something for us to do together. He knew there was a +1, and he's like, you need to come because it's going to be my baby. This is mine. I have to go out and build this business.
Right.
And, you know, he still has his day job, you could put in quotes, so that he can support the medical side of things.
Right.
But it was like, no, this is going to be mine. I'm going to work this. And then we also had Tatiana with us for a while.
Right. You know what? I forgot about that. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you sent, so who was your daughter, right?
Yes.
Did she come through with you guys? I forget, or did she come at a later date?
Came a few months later.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. And sometimes a lot of people do send their children through after they've been.
Yeah. And actually I've been fielding some of those phone calls that you have generated from people seeing our videos. Video and Tatiana's video. So I'm getting calls, you know, is this place a place to be? And it's like, yeah, go.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yeah, and tell her I said hello. It would have been nice.
I will.
Last time I saw her was at the conference, I think.
Yes, we've been to some of the conferences here and there. Yep, down in Florida last.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's kind of a family affair now. I mean, everybody's kind of been through it.
Yep.
Tell me about the first day. I like to hear about that. So like Monday morning, you guys come in, you know, and you're sitting there. Are you like, what did I get myself into? Like,
well, yes. And you know, that fire hose concept. Yeah. It was like, whoa, you know, what are we going to do with all this information? You can't keep up with the notes, you know, you're trying to keep notes, you're trying to pay attention, but then, you know, you ease into it. But then you guys slam us with information, and it's exciting. I mean, even on the ride home, the idea of we could finance that. We can finance that. Hey, that's another thing, you know? So it really opened up a lot of doors, and really the adrenaline gets going.
Yeah. Right.
Actually, our first deal, we were on a drive up to your training. We stopped at a local pub that the owner was in there, and he was complaining about his local bank that wouldn't give him what they needed. And we just started talking about, you know, we do lending. And
wait, this was right after training or before?
Before.
Really?
Before training, because you know, we knew the industry already because Dante had been on the residential side.
Yeah.
And we had talked to this man. He actually owns this place on the way to Albany, but he also owns some stuff in Long Island City.
Okay.
And he has a business down there, but he also had a building that he owned outright. And he wanted to cash out to clean up some bills. His bank wouldn't touch it unless he was going to fix the building. Well, that building was already occupied. So we needed to get him some funding. So Prime took care of it for us.
So yeah, that's interesting. We did. So tell me about that. Like, you guys didn't really know what you're doing that much, but you still were able to have a basic conversation and kind of play off like you knew what you were talking about, I guess.
Well, yes. Well, Dante, having been from the residential side, had a good history of that. But we were like, you know, we can bring in the alternative lenders for you so that you can get this done, you know?
That's fascinating. So you literally you were working a lead before you kind of knew what you were doing on the way to coming to training.
Correct.
Which is cool. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you went through training, you know, obviously it's intense to say the least. Everybody says that.
Yes.
Tell me about when you got home, that first month, 2 months. What were you doing? Were you, you know, drinking more wine? What were you doing?
Well, going through everything, you know, working on getting the lenders in order, but also getting out of my comfort zone. off to marketing and networking and discovering Long Island's vast networking communities that are out there.
Right. Because you really didn't do that in medical, right? I mean, you
No,
didn't.
I didn't do that in medical, but a little background, my kids were schooled at home. Okay. Before it was the new normal,
Right.
I had schooled my kids at home, and there were a lot of networks out there for schooling at home.
Okay.
That we would bring all the kids together and do stuff together. So I was already networking on a personal level with families, you know, because not all families are equally aligned for the kids. Right. So we bring all kinds of different families together, and we get to meet different families. So it worked out kind of well that, you know, I already kind of knew I'm doing my introduction. Yes, I had, you know, somebody that helped because he's in the marketing realm and the networking realm, which he brings a lot of businesses together. And that first time I was like, you want me to what? You know, I'm in the background against the wall, like, I'm not going to say anything, but no, I had to go and get out of my comfort zone and talk about what we do.
Right. Right.
And that started the path.
So some people find a struggle, I think, in doing that, of getting out of that shell that they've been in for years and having to break that shell to kind of break the mold and get in business. And it sounds like you did that pretty successfully.
It worked well. And, you know, we say we're trying to change the face of alternative lending. You know, we're not about the one and done thing. You know, we build relationships with our clients. And yes, some of them are struggling. Some of them have credit that's less than desirable, but we try and find the right deals for them and the right fit for them. I even use community lenders when I have to.
Okay.
And it comes into play quite nicely, especially post-COVID.
Post-COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me, like, what did you ultimately focus on when you graduated CCTG? What was the product focus, or what drew you into concentrating? Do you concentrate in any particular area?
I am very general with what I do.
Okay.
Very much a generalist. If a client brings in the story, we'll find the right source. You know, I do a lot of small business loans, some SBAs, some lines of credit. When they're active and open, you know, that's just coming back now post-COVID.
Yeah.
Because that locked up real quick. But I also love the providers that you bring on hand that can help through this. You know, we want to make a better client for them to be able to have better quality products. Tom is a great example of bringing the right products to the table for our clients so that they can get their lending in order, you know, and their credit in order, not their credit personally, but their business credit.
Business credit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but it sounds like overall though, you focus on business lending, right? Real estate lending, more business.
Correct.
Lending.
Yeah. Mostly business lending, but we also get into the investment lending, you know, for the investors, for the 1-to-4s. And we also have some commercial stuff that we do. I'm working on a golf course right now.
Awesome.
I have a vacation marina, you know, a vacation housing, you know, short-term housing marina that we're working on as well.
Great. You know, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So being in this business now 5 years, 4 or 5 years now, what's kind of the, I like to joke around, what's the weirdest request you ever got?
I have a gentleman that calls every now and again who wants to be able to leverage what the current business owner has on the books to be able to secure the deal.
Okay.
And I've had lenders that will come back and say, hey, you know, we can't do it for the buyer, but get me the name of the seller. We want to do his AR. It's great AR, you know, and this is construction AR.
Yeah. So if someone wants to buy it with essentially no money,
correct,
and have somebody else front all the money, securing the assets of the business. And that's, I mean, listen, that's we all deal with that, unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
he'll
still
come
take their
back.
call? You still take their call, or you just hang up on them?
I'll still give him a chance, but I want to see that he's got money in the deal, you know? Where's your money?
Where's your
But he's trying to acquire all kinds of different businesses on somebody else's dime, which
somebody else has done? You got to have skin in the game. Everybody has to have a little bit of skin in the game.
Absolutely.
What's the most memorable deal you've done? It could be largest commission. I don't know. Let's talk.
Okay. We had a $2 million deal that we did for a gentleman that was buying out his partners.
Okay.
This was an unsecured SBA loan for $2 million.
Unsecured. Wow.
So no collateral. The guy doesn't own any real estate either.
Right.
And he was barely 30.
Wow.
And in the entertainment industry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool one. That sounds like a cool one.
Yeah.
Tell me about your day to day. I mean, at this point, we consider you pretty successful, and it seems like you guys are, it's a family business. You guys are doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But what's your day to day like? From when you wake up to when what do you find yourself getting involved in?
Oh, well, my day to days, I am learning all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning with Tom right now to get that product up and running in my business so that I can make my borrowers a better borrower to go after the better loans.
Got it.
And also go to meetings, you still have to network. So day to day, if there's some meetings, I was on with a business broker today who had an array of folks on the call, and I'm like, I want to know all of them. The business banker, the attorney that helps with the acquisitions and mergers, and all the CPAs that he had online. I want to know, everyone on that call.
Yeah.
Those are great leads.
Yeah. So you're kind of dissecting the chain of who's involved in a transaction and saying, hey, let me speak to this one and that one. That's smart. Well, here's, what I love particularly about interviewing, people like yourself. This industry is so male dominated that I love the fact when women come into it and they flourish and they excel. Yep. That's a positive thing I think our industry needs more of. And so tell me about how do you feel about operating in a male dominated industry? Do you find it tough? Does it excite you? Do you view it as a challenge?
Oh, I love it. I view it as a challenge. I am one of 6 children. I'm the only girl.
Okay. So you're used to it.
I'm used to it. And all the nonsense in the background and all the, my brothers carry on and have these jokes, and I can come back just as quick as they can and bring it on,
Yeah. So this is like a walk in the park for you in some respects.
It is.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, and I'm so blessed that I don't have a jealous husband, because I would have networking meetings where we're going to the hotel. I'm meeting the guys at the hotel, and I'm the only woman there. And, oh yeah, Dante, I'm going out with the guys. I'll see you later.
I could only imagine that conversation with Dante. He calls up, hey, honey, what are you doing? I'm going to a hotel with a few guys, and
my networking meeting.
Yeah, it's a working meeting, and I'll be home whenever it's done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so we've had fun with that over the years.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And how about your daughter? I mean, I remember, Tatiana was very full of energy, and she was a pleasure to have in class. I mean, did she kind of follow in your footsteps? Is she,
She was with us for a little while, and she rocked it. And I mean, she would bring home deals, and it would be like, what'd you do? She helped a designer go solo from a big name so that she could start her own business. She got one of the big MCA companies to take and accept a third-party payer so they could close the deal.
Right.
So she knew how to rock that.
Yeah.
She has moved on because we celebrated a wedding for her.
Oh, congratulations.
It was during COVID.
Oh, man. How did that work?
What?
How did that work?
Well, we were supposed to have a wedding in Texas on March 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
The county closed.
Right.
Before. And all the guests were starting to cancel because if they go, they have to go back home and quarantine for 2 weeks.
How many people were invited to the wedding?
Close to 200.
Okay. And now, is it traditional in the sense that Dante, you guys paid for it, or we're going to pay for it?
Well, Tatiana and her husband were working on paying for it on their own, but
Okay.
we, of course, contributed
Sure.
airfare for this one, airfare for that one, and we took care of a lot.
So, but were you guys like, man, okay, I guess we got to have a smaller wedding. Oh, well, like, honestly.
Well, get this, we didn't even get to go to the wedding. We had put wedding plan B into motion. They live down in Charlotte now. Like all my children live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Tatiana's husband works for the city, and he learned that all essential offices were being closed.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to secure a marriage license. And to do that, they had to get married sooner than the 22nd. So Monday morning, he went out, got the certificate, and at the courthouse, got the certificate, and got married that afternoon. We got to watch online.
Yeehaw! That's a shock wedding.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. They're together. They got to go through this together, and even their honeymoon kind of got put on hiatus because the hostess that owns the bed and breakfast is 80 years old. She canceled on them.
Well, so, I mean, are there plans to have like a formal gathering?
Yes, we will do a formal gathering at a later point where we can actually wear the gowns that we got and everything else. And
yeah, wow, that sucks. I mean, like the one time you look forward to, especially as a girl, right? I mean, you kind of dream of like this wedding, and then all of a sudden it gets, COVID hits.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yeah. But all of her friends followed suit. She was like the pinnacle. She got it going, and she had at least 7 other of her friends get married in the same manner.
So you did it like through Zoom, I take it?
Yes, we observe on Zoom. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And so tell me about when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. A lot of people had to adjust. How did you guys adjust?
I had brokers contacting me, asking me if I knew anything about the PPP loans. And I contacted you guys and a few other lenders and got on board. We processed hundreds of PPP loans over that few months.
Absolutely.
And I was educating myself the whole way through to make sure I could learn how to answer my clients'
questions,
so that their questions would be answered and answered correctly.
We were all learning.
Yes, we were all learning. We were all, bank hours were dead at that point. 10 o'clock at night, I'm getting calls. 8 a.m., 7 a.m., they're coming through.
Right.
And we're answering them. They need answers. They're freaking out. So let's make it right. We worked as hard as we could to get as many loans processed.
Well, I'll tell you some good news. There is going to be a third round. It's going to come out probably by the end of this month or first or second week of October. And the good news is we have aligned ourselves with a fund that's willing to do any dollar amount this time. So,
nice.
So anywhere from $1,000 all the way to $10 million. And so we're excited about that. Nice. And all you guys have to do is just literally send a link. That's it. You don't even have to do documents. You just send the client a link. So listen, it was crazy. Things change. Listen, I had people here processing for sleeping overnight in the office. It was that crazy. I had marketing people all of a sudden turn into like processors. So
yeah, I took care of a $7.2 million loan for people.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was a nice one.
So is that one of
the commissions weren't exactly what I wanted, but
I know. Well, there's not a lot of commissions, but volume is the key with that play. But at the end of the day, do you feel good that you helped those people? I mean, those people.
Oh, absolutely. And they're coming back, and so are their accountants to ask more questions and get more things done.
Well, I'm going to tell you you already know this, but I'll tell you some advice that we're seeing that as PPP had run out, they still need capital. So now, now they're coming back to do a lot of things. A lot of graduates are telling me that.
Yep. Yeah. I just closed one today. One of my clients, he needs some working capital because his business got shut down for many months, and he got the EIDL, but he didn't get the PPP. He doesn't have employees. But we just took care of him with a VA loan so that he can get the working capital that he needs to get going.
Right.
The VA, SBA product through the community bank.
And I'll say it time and time again, that's one of the beautiful things about our training is that we teach diversity. So you never know. You have to kind of go where the trend is. And
absolutely,
like you took advantage of that. You went with the trend, stopped whatever you were doing, and taking advantage of the PPP.
Yes, I can tell you, I sent through hundreds. Him and Lucas.
I know. You kept our guys busy. I know you did. Poor Lucas. I remember it was kind of surreal. I tend to flourish in crisis situations. I actually love it. Like, because it's like new, it's interesting, and you're like operating in like uncharted waters. I tend to myself, I know myself, I love to operate in those environments. And like, it was crazy because like we had, I was ordering pizzas for the guys and girls working, and like I'd come in, it was like 11 at night, and we had a full-blown operation, just processing. And
I know.
Nuts.
I know. Yeah. You guys are calling me at 10 o'clock at night regarding a client that I just put in.
Yeah, we
had ready to process it.
Yeah, it was all hands on deck, but
but then that guy's brother calls me the next day. Hey, how come my brother got through and not me yet?
I know. Well, everybody can feel those questions, believe me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you were learning, we were learning. I mean, everybody was learning because things kept changing every day.
Oh,
every day it was something new.
3 weeks there were new rules. And how many times did they update the application? At least 3 times.
I felt bad because, some brokers weren't as patient with us, and they're just like, what the hell, man? And we're like, listen, it's not our fault. Like, it literally changed. You have to go back and get this. And everybody, oh, man.
No, you guys did a phenomenal job. You guys got us paid. Yeah. I've got some more though. I'm going back through, and I didn't see everything, so I'll be checking with Lucas.
Okay. Yeah. No. Feel free. Feel free. Yep. So, what's let me ask you, what is being in this business now for a long time? What do you hate about the business? Because I could tell you what I hate about it, but what do you hate about the business? There's got to be something you don't like about the business.
When I can't get somebody the lending they need because they're just not qualified enough.
Yeah, it kind of breaks your heart.
It does. I come from medicine. I've done cancer treatments, and when you're treating them to live, that's great. But when you're treating them to just be comfortable, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But in the lending world, when the business just doesn't have what it needs to get to the next point,
and you just can't help them. Yeah, I say that you're not a miracle worker. You could help a lot, but there's some deals that you just can't help them. So I get it. Yeah. On the flip side, what's the best thing about this business that you love, that you're in it?
Oh, watching people, once we get them their funding, they are so ecstatic.
It's cool, right?
It's great. Oh yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. And when they've been to every other place and had the roadblock, now and then it's like you finally did it for them, and they're just shocked. And I have other brokers now coming to me and going, no, if somebody can do it, it's her. And these are people that have been in the business for years, but they concentrate on commercial real estate. They didn't know you could get lending for $250 and the $200 for commercial real estate.
Right.
And when they know that I can do it, they're sending their customers over.
So you've built up a pretty good referral network.
Yes, I have.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, you're a go-getter. I mean,
yeah.
That's we tell people network, and over time you have this whole bunch of people that are sending you stuff.
Right.
You continue to do that.
No, and when you can do the deal, they're amazed. And I have my accountants that come to me. Clients got a 500 credit score, but they have a building, but they're not current because COVID happened on their mortgage. So who wants that?
Yeah.
I've got somebody.
Right.
I found a private lender that's willing to take him on.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
On his bridge.
A good feeling.
It is.
It really is a good feeling. What's something that we wouldn't normally know about Lisa, besides, you're this good broker and you're pretty successful? I mean, what's something quirky we wouldn't know about you?
I used to be a majorette.
A what?
a majorette, twirl baton, lead
Oh,
the marching band.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I used to compete
That's
doing,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that how you met Dante? Like, did Dante like say, "Whoa, wow, look at
No, I picked him up in Canada.
Is he Canadian?
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
was a Marine off in Canada drinking at the local bar. And I was doing temp service at the time. I used to do temp service in radiation therapy.
Uh-huh.
And I went out and I figured it'd be safer to go into Canada than to go down to Detroit. I crossed the Blue Water Bridge, went into Canada, went to a bar, and I saw him there shooing some girls away. And I thought, okay. So I asked him to dance.
Oh, wow. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
The rest is history. That's a cool story.
Yeah. And
Really?
he was on his way to Okinawa. We dated maybe 2 weeks.
And then he left.
He told me first he told me he was going to make me his wife, and then he went off to Okinawa.
Amazing. Yeah. That's a great story. So then he obviously followed through.
Yeah, he did. Came back. We picked up where we left off and got married a few months later.
A few months later. Wow.
Well, he came back, and it wasn't quite a year, and we were married.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a story. Hell of a story. Do you ever try to do that again? Do you ever try to like get dressed up and do the batons or anything like that?
No, I haven't done that in years. I mean, I did it for about 7-8 years as a kid. Mm-hmm. And my mother had me in ballet. She had me twirling baton. She had me, and with baton, I would go through the competitions and everything. So I would win different things, and they would have a segment of beauty pageants as well. Mm-hmm. I would take home trophies.
Good take home trophy.
Yeah, yeah.
The baton. The baton thing seems stressful because like that's where you got to throw it up in the air, right? And you got to catch it. I mean, what the hell happens when you drop it? I mean,
yeah, you have to recover. And I used to twirl fire.
Really? Wow. Yes. Did you ever get burned?
No.
You never got burned. Good then. You must have been pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was fun.
You didn't stick the fireball down your throat. You didn't go that far, did you?
No, okay. I wasn't doing that stuff. No.
That's cool though. That's cool. Here's another one for you. I mean, if you weren't in finance, so it's a nice journey. You were in medical, then you found us. Now you're doing finance. What would you be doing if you didn't think you found us? Would you still be in medical?
Probably, but I love it outdoors too much. Okay. I love touring lighthouses, so I would like to go explore the world because I love to travel. We've been to India in the recent past. Okay. And we've been to Italy, but I would love to go explore all the lighthouses of the world.
Who's the Italian in the marriage? You or
I'm French. I'm French.
Oh, you're French. Wow. Okay. So Dante's the Italian.
Dante's the Italian, hence the name Dante.
Yeah, Rodino. I know. Wow, Italian meets French. Okay.
Yeah, and he's Calabrese, which I hear you are too.
Yeah, I know. We're a special bunch.
Yeah,
we're a very special bunch. How do you deal with him? I mean, is he hard to deal with?
No, some days. Yeah. You should see him and Tatiana together. They're two of a kind.
Like clash or like gang up on you?
No, not gang up on me, but with one another, they can butt heads.
I bet.
They're both very similar personalities.
I'm fearful of that with my daughter. My daughter's 10 now. Ooh. My daughter Gianna, and she is just a hard head. And I'm, she's already, let me ask you some advice. I'm going to ask you some advice. You ready? Okay. So my daughter comes to me and she goes, Daddy, everybody's got a cell phone. She's going into 5th grade. She's like, everybody's got a cell phone. And I'm thinking in my head, and I feel old. I'm like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 19. Like, what do you mean you want a cell phone? You're going into 5th grade. She's like, Daddy, everybody has them. And she's right. A lot of people have them. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't give in. I mean, what's your advice on that?
Well, mine didn't get theirs until like 14 and up or even a little bit older. But from the homeschooling side, we always said no electronics. because you lose focus on the work.
Right.
When you have an instructor at the front of the classroom,
Right.
They don't have electronics. They don't have Sesame Street with the letters going across the screen.
Yeah.
It loses their focal ability. They can't, it shortens their attention span.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. You know, so you got to work with that.
I know. But I'm just, you know how girls get when they start getting to teenage years. It's like, and she's a hard head. I mean, she's kind of has a little bit of my personality. She's just, I don't know. We have a great relationship. Don't worry. I mean, we do have a great relationship and an open relationship, but she's just, I'll tell you a funny story about her. I brought her to the office one time a couple of years ago, and she's randomly walking around. She sits down in one of my employees' offices, and she goes, "Oh, who are you?" And they said, "Oh, I'm so and so." She goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And they kind of explained. She goes, "So does that mean you're going to be working for me when I get older?" And I go, "Gianna," I go, "What are you doing?" But
hey,
yeah, she's a tough.
You've got to, direct and lead that.
I know.
That drive.
I know. These are the crucial years, they say, for especially young girls. Is that 10 to 20 is a crucial 10 years.
It is. Goldie Blocks is a toy for probably a little younger, but they help the girls to understand engineering and building.
Okay.
So it's a way to direct and have a focus, like the robotics classes and stuff she might be fascinated with. But it sounds like you've got a leader just waiting to be. You need to hone those skills.
I know. I got to just mold her a little bit. The funniest thing is we'll have people over for dinner. She'll come up to sometimes people and she goes, that's another story. But one time I was at school. I went to go to her school for a parent-teacher deal, and and the teacher goes, and the teacher was telling me this. She goes, what do your parents do? And she goes, "Oh, well," she goes, "my daddy lends money to people that can't get money from a bank." And of course, the last name's Italian, right? Roglieri.
Yeah.
And, my daddy just gives people money that can't get money, and then they have to pay him back. And I'm like,
"Hey, the loan shark."
Yeah. But she's right, But she's right in that. I mean, that's how her mind thinks. So, yeah, it's parent-teacher nights are always cool. They're
fun.
At least.
Yeah, get her a mentor at the office.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Help her learn it. I mean, get this. My son Luigi speaks about 8 languages.
Wow.
And he has friends all over the globe. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he's now brokering a deal. He's got a friend in Nevada, Arizona, or California. Yeah. And he has a friend in Greece. Uh-huh. The friend in Greece is a distributor. The friend in California wants to source almonds to sell to Greece. Luigi's brokering the deal. Yeah. He made the introductions to them, and they're all paying him.
That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, awesome. And he did this without ever learning anything from us.
Right. No, you guys done well. You guys have done well as parents. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, but he's 21 brokering deals like this.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. No, you guys have raised 2 good eggs for sure.
Yeah.
We come time in this interview where ask me anything you want. Is there anything, no question, personal, business, does not matter. Throw it at me. I got thick skin. Go ahead.
All right. Well, Dante is wondering, it baffles his mind. There's no K in the Italian language. How did you end up with a K for your first name?
That's an easy one. That is an easy one. Yes, that's an easy question. I was born on Christmas. And so Kris Kringle. I was born on Christmas.
December 23rd.
It's not Christopher, it's just Kris. And you know what? Looking back, I like it because everybody spells it with a C. Yeah. I kind of like a K because it's different. But it's because I was born on Christmas.
All right. Interesting. Interesting.
What else? Anything else?
So what one experience in your teen years do you still laugh about and still have memories of?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a couple, but one that I think sticks out is so. You being married to Italian, you'd appreciate this. So my father was, he's a hard-headed Italian Marine, fought in the Korean War.
Yep.
And it doesn't get any worse than that. Doesn't get any worse than that. And old school Italian. We were all, and I attribute his instilling fear in us that, hey, if you get off the wrong track, like, you got to come home to me like that. I have two older brothers. We all turned out okay. There's a doctor in the family. My other brother works in New York City. Anyway, one time, it was high school, and I was like in 11th grade, 12th grade, and there would be what we call May Day. And in May Day, it was historically, everybody kind of goofed around and skipped class, okay? And, as a kid, I wasn't the brightest. I didn't get the best grades. School, to be honest with you, bored me. I didn't really find it too interesting. But here I was. I had to take a test in science lab class, and I remember, a couple friends of mine. Before school started, we got into a little bottle of something. Right? I don't even know what it was. It was probably, it was cheap, so it was disgusting. But we got into something, and I went to class, and I was a little bit tipsy, and to the point where the teacher, I was joking with kids, and she came over, she smelled something, and she goes, you've been drinking. And so I remember she took me out of class. She called the principal, the assistant principal. So an hour later, and so then the contact was my father. She goes, we're going to call your father. So at this point, I'm kind of shitting bricks. I'm like, oh man, and so I'm sitting in the office, and my father walks in, right? My father's a person that back in the day, he could command a room, like just his presence, right? Comes in, he sits down, and I got the principal there, the assistant principal, the teacher, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to get bruises. I was just fearful, right?
Yep.
So the principal goes and tells this big, long, dramatic story of how it's so inappropriate and this and blah, 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 right? And I'm just sitting there taking on the chin. And then they turned, my dad was silent. He turned to my dad and they go, so Mr. Roglieri, what do you have to say about this? And this moment was a defining moment in my relationship with my father because it took a different turn. I'm sitting there and I'm just like this. And he looks up and he goes, in this, kind of Italian accent, he goes, what? He goes, what do you want from me? He goes, boys will be boys. He goes, has my boy ever got in trouble before? And he looked at the principal and she's like, no, I can't say he has, and he goes, all right. So he got, he broke in a little bottle of wine. He goes, we've all been there. He goes, you're sitting here wasting my time. He goes, what do you want from me? And it was totally different reaction that I expected he would have. And he literally got up. He goes, come on, boy. He called me, he goes, come on, boy. We're getting out of here. And I'm like, everybody was stunned at his reaction, including myself. And we literally left the office and he turned to me and he goes, you ever do that shit again? He goes, you're dead. But we ended up going out to lunch that day. And like the next day, everything was good. And from that point on, I had a different perspective and a different relationship with him. Cause I'm like, I was fearful, literally fearful, but like, he kind of looked at me, he gave me a pass and he kind of made sense. Like in the grand scheme of things, like, is it a big deal? Now, he's not like a troublemaker in class, but was it really a big deal? He goes, boys will be boys. What do you want from me? You're wasting my time.
Right.
And from that point on, I looked at him in a different light. So.
Nice.
I always remember that.
Oh.
Anything else?
Yeah. So when we have different product ideas that we want to capitalize on and market, are you interested in partnering with stuff like that or having that conversation?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got an idea that we would love to do There is only one, maybe two other individuals out there doing it that we know of right now, and we don't like the way they are doing it.
Don't say it on the podcast because I don't want people to
not
steal
doing
right
it now.
We'll do it offline.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let's do it offline.
I'm always available for that. Always available for stuff like that.
Cool. So, where in the world would Kris want to go and explore that you haven't been yet?
Well, let me rephrase that question, and I'll answer it though. Okay. I've been to Italy a lot. There was one place I went to. I only had a chance to spend a day there when I was in my younger years. I had a friend that did a study abroad there, and I went over when I was about 19. And there's one place that I want to go back to and spend like 2 weeks there, and it's the town of Ravello, which is on the Amalfi Coast. It's on the Amalfi Coast.
Nice.
It's a town. It's actually it's a little village, but it's on a cliff, and it overlooks the sea. And at one time, they actually considered making the view you have from that like one of the 8th wonders of the world. It is Frank Sinatra. They have like a natural amphitheater with the rock. It's a really cool place, and I want to go back there and spend like 2 weeks there. It's small. There's only 2 hotels, and one was used to be a monastery. So it's like this old school hotel. They only have like 10 rooms. If I ever go back to Italy, I want to spend 2 weeks there. I think that would be the coolest thing. You've probably noticed it before. You've seen pictures on the internet. You just don't realize it, of like this dramatic view. It's the town of Ravello.
Nice. Well, we went camping on Lake Garda.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was a blast. And they have these campsites. They're maxi caravans, or you could have a room, or you could bring your own tent. But we had a maxi caravan. It was a 2-bedroom with a bath and a half. So the master suite had a half bathroom. Okay. And then the second bedroom had 3 bunks. We had 3 kids with us. It was much more affordable than the regular hotel rooms. And it had a kitchenette. So it worked out great.
Perfect. Yeah, it's I could talk about Italy for days, but even though I've been there to that town once, but that's where I'd want to go back.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. So anything you could tell me about your business that you're looking forward to in the next 6 months? Do you plan to maybe add on people? Is there any plans in the horizon with your loan broker?
Well, we have people coming on here and there, but I love Tom's product. I think that's going to rock the house, because I'm going to go back to all my previous clients and say, let's get you repositioned for your next loan so that you can get better rates.
Yeah. I know what you're referring to, and I don't want to give away the sauce on the podcast, but yeah, it's a great product, and
it's an excellent product, and I'm really excited about getting it rolling. I've already had a few meetings with a few of my clients, and they're very interested. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, Lisa, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today. I do want to thank you so much. It was a pleasure seeing you again.
Yeah, it was
good. And tell the whole family, Dante, tell Tatiana I said hello. And I wish you the best in the future, and we're proud to continue to serve you guys.
Great. We look forward to seeing you and, breaking that bottle of Bartolino again,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have for this episode on Entrepreneurs of Finance. Be on the lookout for future episodes. We're going to be doing 1 a week. So, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you on the next one. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Kris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.